Is there a certain point that an entrepreneur should go from the hustler to actually being the CEO? Are there like steps in your mind or your process?
Basically, the first step is that when all your bills are paid. In other words, I can consistently pay my bills and I can consistently sock some money away. I can consistently live reasonable life, right? Something that most would settle for, that I'm comfortable with. I'm there. At that point, then the natural step is that now you got to start thinking about, okay, now I want to scale this. But you don't scale to CEO, you scale to manager, meaning I've got to start putting people in place and I got to start putting systems in place. I'm not really running a business yet. I'm on the first step to running a business. I'm putting things in place that allow me to create more revenue, more profitability, but on the efforts of others. My new job is that I'm managing people now. Rather than me actually managing the revenue and driving the revenue, I'm managing people that drive that revenue and drive operations. And then once the next step is now you get managers in place of you, and now you're the CEO. Right now I'm sitting on top of it. My managers are managing their teams. My time is now spent looking on the horizon, 3, 5, 10 years down the road. How do we vertically integrate? How do we extend the lifetime value of the customer? How do we add more opportunity into this business? That's kind of where the CEO lives, right?
Yeah.
And then the step from that is as you add these new verticals, new opportunities, new businesses, if you will, you start putting CEOs and organizations in place of each one of those to now you're the chairman of the board, sitting atop 3 or 4 different CEOs. And then ultimately, Shangri-La, if you will, is you get to a place where you're ultimately the investor. And in other words, I don't need to play any active role. I don't need to be the chairman of the board. I'm going to be the guy that's writing the checks, making the money, creating significant wealth because of the organizations and the people I've put around me. And that's where everybody's trying to get ultimately. You're real smart. But to your point, there's a progress, there's a step. The very first step is you have to step into the role of manager. And you got to get real comfortable putting people in place to do things that your natural instinct is going to be, why would I put somebody else in place if I can do it, right? I'd be saving money. It's like when you go and rehab a house, you see these people that, well, why would I pay somebody $2,000 to paint the house? I can go do that on Saturday or Sunday, right? That's the hustler mentality. You're not saving money, you're giving up time. You may have heard me say this before, but if somebody told you you had 168 hours left on this planet, 7 days, those 168 hours, each one of them, you would quickly realize that just how valuable they really are. But if they're valuable in that moment, then they're equally valuable in every moment. And so when you have the opportunity to buy back one of those hours for anything less than priceless, you're saving money. So if I can go spend money, invest money to get somebody else to do a task, and it allows me the opportunity to either spend time with my family, friends, or equally go help and grow my business. That shift has to take place to move from hustler to CEO.
Yeah.
Without that shift, it never happens.